Welcome to the 2017 Track and Field Rules video. My hope is this video will provide information on the 2017 track and field season and answer some of your questions prior to the start of the season. My name is Julie Cochran and I'm the Assistant Executive Director and the Track and Field Administrator for the IESA. Please email me if you have any questions throughout the track and field season.
The IESA Board of Directors made several changes to the coaching education requirements for 2016-17. All coaches with your track and field team must meet these requirements. This includes head coaches, assistant coaches, volunteer coaches, throws coaches, pole vault coaches, etc. These individuals must be regularly licensed by ISB as a teacher, administrator, or school service personnel, or be a retired teacher coach from the IESA or IHSA member school, or be a college student coaching as part of the official student teaching assignment, or finally, be certified through an IESA approved coaching education program. In addition, all coaches must have a high school graduate or be a high school graduate or equivalent. A person with a substitute-only license must complete one of the approved coaching education courses in order to serve as a coach. Additionally, teaching assistants and paraprofessionals must also take one of the approved coaching education courses in order to serve. A high school student may be assigned to assist with the coaching of an athletic team in member schools provided they are under the direct supervision of an individual who meets the provisions of IESA Bylaw 2.110, which is the Youth Sports Concussion Safety Act applies to all public, private, charter elementary, and secondary schools with students enrolled who participate in interscholastic athletic activities. The legislation addresses requirements for schools, students, and coaches. Schools must establish a concussion oversight team or a COT team. The COT's primary function is to develop a return to play and return to learn protocol for students believed to have experienced a concussion. The COT team can contain a range of individuals based on the resources available to the school and in their community, but it must include one person who is responsible for implementing and complying with the RTP and RTL protocols. Schools must also establish a school venue emergency action plan for all interscholastic athletic activities. Students may not participate in interscholastic activity until the student and their parent guardian have signed a form acknowledging receiving and reading information that explains concussion prevention, symptoms, treatment, and guidelines for returning to participation. Students must be removed from interscholastic athletic practices or competition immediately if they have believed to have suffered a concussion. Upon a student's clearance from a treating physician or certified athletic trainer to return to the athletic or classroom activity, the student's parent or guardian must provide written report from the physician to their school. In addition, a consent form signed by the student's parent or guardian must be submitted to the school. All coaches, including high school students serving as an assistant coach, must complete an approved concussion training course every 2 years. There are 3 current approved concussion courses. The IHSA and the IESA developed a course and it is available in the IHSA or IESA member school centers. This course consists of 2 videos, some supplemental PDFs, and a test. The Illinois Bone and Joint Institute also has an in-person training course that meets the legislation requirements. And finally, the Global Compliance Network, which works with schools on internet test taking, now has an approved concussion course. Part of the legislation states that coaches must provide proof of completion of this training to their schools. If the individual takes the course through the IESA or IHSA member center, there will be a record taken automatically upon completion. Resources for concussion education are available on the IESA and IHSA website. If you have any questions concerning the concussion education and legislation, please contact Associate Executive Director Nicole Schaefbauer at nicole@iesa.org. As your school prepares for the track and field season, the next group of slides should help every coach involved with track and field. There are a lot of important dates to remember as track and field coaches. The IESA will remind schools via email throughout the season of these dates as we come upon them. You can also follow the dates on the activity tracker in the IESA Member Center. Please take a moment to make sure that your coach's emails and your administrative emails are up to date in the IESA Member Center so that the correct information gets to the correct individuals. Also, take a minute to write down the dates on these slides for the important dates for track and field. New this year, the team schedules need to be entered by March 27, 2017. Practices may begin February 27th. Meets may begin March 13th. Participant data for online seating for Class A is May 2nd. For Class AA is May 9th. Seed meetings are mandatory for a school representative from each school participating in the sectional. The Class A seed meeting is May 3rd. The Class AA seed meeting is May 10th. Sectional meets for Class A is May 6th. The Class AA is May 13th. And the state meets are Class A, May 12th and 13th, and May 19th and 20th for Class AA. You can find all the seed meeting and sectional meet dates, times, and locations on the sectional assignments on the IESA webpage. As you prepare for the season, first and foremost, read the IESA track and field terms and conditions. You should be familiar with this information. Highlighted below are some of the major IESA rules you should be familiar with. The latest National Federation of State High School Association rulebook that's used to govern track and field was sent to your school in the initial mailing. Please make sure you carry your NFHS rulebook and IESA exceptions with you to all contests. The IESA exceptions can be found on the track and field webpage. Additionally, make sure that you're familiar with all the new rule changes for this current year. Before practice begins, make sure you conduct a parent meeting that covers team, school, and IESA rules. Make sure that all students have a birth certificate and physical on file with the school before you begin practice. It's recommended that officials used for regular season meets be IHSA licensed officials. So when you're hiring your officials, you can go into the official search button to look for IHSA licensed officials in the IESA Member Center. Make sure you inspect all your uniforms and any undergarments, and the undergarment rules, make sure they're in compliance with NFHS rules. Familiarize yourself with your school's grade check and eligibility procedures. Once again, make sure you add your team schedule by March 27th and that all your staff are in compliance with the coach certification requirements prior to the start of season. In addition, all members of coaching staff must successfully complete an approved concussion course prior to the start of the season. During your track and field season, monitor the individual participation limitations. In all interscholastic track and field meets, no member school shall allow a student to participate in more than 4 events. You can find specific individual limitations included in your terms and conditions in your initial mailing. Relay teams may have up to 5 students listed. Any 4 of the 5 runners listed may run at either the sectional or the state level of competition. Students may only be listed for 2 relays. If a student is listed for 2 relays, one of the relays must be the 4x4. No student may participate in both the 4x1 and the 4x2 relay. Also, monitor your grade eligibility of your students throughout the season, as grades must be checked weekly. The grades are then turned into your administration and dictate the eligibility of your students for the following week. Notify your sectional host if you are planning on entering athletes in the pole vault so they can plan for the sectional meet. And never allow an athlete to participate under a false name, as this is a serious violation and could jeopardize your entire team's eligibility. Prior to the seed meeting, verify your sectional assignments that can be found on the IESA track and field webpage. You will need to go to this area to check the competing teams and the host of your sectional meet. If your sectional currently does not have a host and you are interested in hosting, please contact the IESA office. Make sure you know the date, time, and location of your seed meeting from the sectional assignments, as you must attend or send a representative to the seed meeting. When entering marks for your athletes in the Track and Field Entry Center, please keep in mind the following. Participant times must be submitted in the tenth of seconds. Example, a 10.18 should be rounded and entered as 10.2. Manual times should all be rounded up to the slower tenth of a second. Again, an example, 10.21 should be entered as 10.3. All times entered for the sectional meet must be entered in manual times. If you are using FAT times, please convert them to manual time by subtracting 0.24 from the FAT time to equal the manual time entered in the participant entry center. Time submitted for seeding purposes in all individual track events at the sectional seed meeting shall be times actually achieved at the metric distance during the current outdoor track and field season. In a relay event, only a time actually achieved at the metric distance in a current outdoor track and field season by the relay may be submitted for seeding purposes. Coaches may not combine individual times and enter them as a relay time. It is mandatory for the head coach or another school representative to attend the sectional seeding meeting. If a school representative is not in attendance at the seed meeting, the sectional meet manager should seed the athletes from the non-attending school and contact me at the IESA office immediately following morning. If a coach or school representative fails to attend the track and field seed meeting, the following sanctions will be applied. The school will be placed on probation after the first year. The second consecutive meeting, the school will be able to participate in the track and field state series of the current year, but will not be able to participate the following year. The school may pay a $250 fee for reinstatement to the state series. When attending the sectional seed meeting, make sure you bring a copy of your sectional participant information that you entered online. This can be printed following the entries of the participants in the Track and Field Entry Center. Make sure you leave the meeting with the following information: the scratch meeting start time, the meet start time, if you need to provide volunteers or equipment for any events, and finally to double check that all your participants have been entered and entered into the meet, as no changes can be made following the seed meeting, only scratches. At the sectional meet, the pole vault and high jump competitors must clear at a minimum the required opening height to be eligible to advance to state. Preferred alley assignments for the IESA 800 and 1600 are now the same as the IHSA, and please make sure that you review the IESA alleys prior to the seed meeting with the IHSA official. These can be found on the IESA website for track and field. At the sectional meets, the waterfall and super alley starts are not permitted for the 800 and the 1600. Only the 2-lane alley used at the state tournament is an acceptable start for these races. Events cannot be consolidated. So, for example, you can't run your 7th grade girls milers with your 8th grade girls milers at the sectional meet. And finally, the meet referee has the final authority. If there are rulings, clarifications, problems, etc. at the sectional meet, please make sure that you discuss this with the meet referee so that you get a ruling at the meet. The meet referee has final authority, and come Monday morning, as a track administrator, I will not be able to give you a ruling or fix a rules problem as I was not in attendance at the meet. Situations that are not subject to protest in track and field are any judgment decision pertaining to violation or alleged violation of the rules, a decision made by the finish judge, or times that does not involve misapplication of the rule or the terms and conditions of the competition, and finally, whether or not a start is fair or legal. The IESA office starts to compile the data received from the sectional host each weekend on Sunday. Once the information is received from the host schools, the state meet qualifiers will be compiled and then posted on the IESA website Tuesday evening following the sectional meet on Saturday. Please notify the IESA office immediately if there are mistakes. Make sure that you are checking the state qualifier link on the homepage and not the sectional meet results listed on the assignment link or ones that were sent to you by your sectional host. The office imports the data from each sectional meet, and if an individual is missed, we want to make sure they get on there prior to the deadline. Make sure that all of your parents and athletes are aware at the state meet that the legal spike length is only a 1/4 inch pyramid spike. If you must scratch an athlete from the state meet, please contact the IESA office as soon as possible. You must present your school pass list and sportsmanship card to receive your coach's packet. Keep in mind that the time schedule is approximate and make sure your athletes and parents know this. Races can and will be run ahead of schedule. Please make sure you have your athletes at the facility well in advance of their time-scheduled race time. Inclement weather may move some field events indoors, so make sure your athletes are prepared for these possibilities. All 2017 National Federation rule changes are available on the IESA Track and Field Activity Update. This can be found on the Track and Field webpage under Documents and Links. One key note to note is the 564 NFHS rule deletes the requirement of separating competitors in the same team if they were to be in the same heat for the first round of competition. The IESA will no longer separate individuals from heats in the hundreds and hurdles in the first and second rounds. Thank you for viewing the 2017 IESA Track and Field Rules presentation. I hope this answered some questions and got you started for the track and field season. Please contact me with any questions you have about track and field throughout the season. My email is julie@iesa.org. And good luck to everyone this school year.